What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 4 of my reviewing and ranking Jethro Tull's live albums. I was familiar with their first one, which came out in the late 70s, which might be one of the best live 70s albums. Live albums to be released in the 70s, bursting out. I'm now on the 4th release that they've done, which is called In Concert. This was released in 1995. It is material, about 50 plus minutes of tracks, 10 tracks, from a 1991 show at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, from the Catfish Rising tour, which is interesting because the release previous to this, A Little Light Music, was a 92 show from the Catfish Rising tour. So it's interesting that they've gone back to that tour and released a slightly different set list, a couple of the same songs. Interesting release. I enjoyed listening to it. Sound was pretty decent. Really nice bass presence. It's not the bass itself doesn't particularly stand out, but the bass is there and like you can appreciate it, which is cool. 10 songs, 4 of them are from Catfish Rising, an album that I can't say I'm the hugest fan of, but I do think the sort of live versions of these sound just a little better. This Is Not Love, which I think is the opening on that album. Rocks on the Road, which I think definitely on the album felt like their attempt to do kind of a grander sort of Dire Straits type mini epic. They could even have like a piano coda. That piano coda is not on the live version. Rocks on the Road, did I mention that? Rocks on the Road, which is a pretty decent song. Tall Thin Girl and Still Loving You are all on here. There's one song off Crest of a Knave, which closes the album, Jumpstart. And then you get 4 other songs, plus a blues jam, parentheses instrumental, which actually is a stand-up song with the blues jam on here. So I enjoyed this. It felt a little, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. Just because it's just 40, 50 plus minutes of just random stuff from a show. The songs are presented in the order that they were played, though we are missing songs. Opens up with Minstrel in the Gallery, but just like the minstrel in the gallery, like the first verse, and then Barr comes in with like a little guitar, and then Anderson goes, Mary, and they go right into Cross-Eyed Mary. And the build up into Cross-Eyed Mary, the dun 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 is absolutely fantastic. And then they drop into Cross-Eyed Mary, which sounds really good. Great opening song. I'm all in for that. They follow that up with This Is Not Love. I think it's better live than on Catfish Rising. Rocks on the Road is next, which very Dire Straitsy. Even like Barr's little like guitar licks sound like he's like channeling Knopfler. It's like 6.5 minutes. I think it's an okay song. I think it's a little too long. I just kind of lose interest as the song goes on. I don't think enough interesting stuff happens. But I do think the live energy is maybe better than the studio energy. Then we get a Heavy Horses, which is just an awesome little treat. We don't get the instrumental opening. We miss that whole first, minute and a half of that instrumental opening. So we start off, we don't get the piano with the vocals. We get an acoustic guitar with the vocals. So once the vocals start on the studio version, we essentially get that version, but instead of piano during the verses, we get acoustic guitar during the verses. But when we come into the chorus and we get that Heavy Horses, that drop is pretty sweet. Live, that drop is pretty sweet. You can tell the audience appreciates that drop too. It's a good little drop. So that's kind of cool. Like a Tall Thin Girl, just like the album, acoustic and jaunty. Still Loving You, nice bluesy, Dire Straitsy slow burner, still nice. We get about 8 minutes of Thick as a Brick. We've had this previously. It was released on Bursting Out. And what we got there was essentially mostly all from Thick as a Brick Part 1. You got mostly all the way up through Poet and the Painter, and then you skip to the From the Upper Class part. I came down from the upper class, and that part that closes out Part 1. And then after that, you go into the last 30 seconds of Part 2, where they kind of reprise the opening theme. This is the same thing without the entire Poet and the Painter part. which is arguably the best part of Thick as a Brick. So you get essentially the first part that is like the single, then you jump to the from down from the lower class, and then you jump to the closing part. And this is the one song on here. Thick as a Brick kind of sounds tired. It just, especially that first part. To me, that first part is so lively and fun. And when Anderson is really enjoying the beginning of Thick as a Brick, it is pretty fantastic. And it just, something's lacking here, man. It just sounds a little bit tired. By the time we get to like the from the upper class part, and we get to that section, I think the energy's there because the whole band's there, and it's rock a little more, and the music is fantastic. But it's a tired sounding Thick as a Brick. I will say that it's a tired sounding Thick as a Brick. Then we get A New Day Yesterday, which is, I bow to this. I think this has been on every release so far, if I'm not mistaken. Fantastic. They modernize this. It's a little bit sleeker, hits a little bit harder. The guitar is just a little bit nastier. They throw two jams in the middle. There's a beret jam in the middle, which is just absolutely fantastic. But then they also quote what I'm assuming is like another traditional like English folk song or Irish folk song or something. But it seems to me there's another quote in there, and it was also on the previous release, and I don't know what that is. So if there is something and you know the name of it, or maybe it's just part of the song, and because of this arrangement, I'm not recognizing it. I don't know. But The New Day Yesterday is fantastic, and it kind of redeems this entire release. And then having that beret in the middle is great. And after hearing this now a number of times live, that New Day Yesterday riff, that opening guitar riff, that's an all-time classic. Like, I think that is a better riff than Aqualung. As iconic as the Aqualung riff is, like if people know Jethro Tull and they only know one thing, they know da-na-na-na-na-na. But this New Day Yesterday opening riff, that thing's just nasty, man. That's just nasty. I want to hear other bands cover A New Day Yesterday. Like I want to hear like Fish tear into this, or Moe tear into this, or some jam band. Just like I want to hear My Morning Jacket tear into this. Like I want to hear Mastodon tear into this. Like A New Day Yesterday, that's a beast of a song. Then we get something called Blues Jam, which is a instrumental version of Reasons for Waiting. Really nice in the beginning when the keyboard is just playing that Reasons for Waiting, like opening motif. But then we kind of descend into a blues jam with harmonica. Then we kind of go back to Reasons for Waiting at the end. They did this with Look Into the Sun, right? On the next album, where they just tease the song and then they go into a jam and then they tease the song. I'm like, no, we don't need another blues jam. Give me Reasons for Waiting. Give me Look Into the Sun. Give me one of those songs. That's what I want. And then it closes out with Jump Start. Which is, I don't know, it's kind of not bad energy. It's a good closer off Crest of a Knave. Definitely has end of the set energy. This might have been the end of the main set. I did look at set list for this tour, and I believe the encore in the set list says Minstrel in the Gallery. So I'm thinking that maybe they bring back the entire song at the end and you get a full-on Minstrel in the Gallery instead of like 15 seconds of it. But But that's what it is. 10 songs, 5 of them rather recent. The other ones, older stuff. One of them, Thick as a Brick, I think sounds kind of tired. But then it's immediately made up for by A New Day Yesterday, which is a beast. Ranking this among the other ones, this is last. A Little Light Music was a little rough for me. It's pretty inconsistent. There's like fade outs, and like sometimes the song is just the song and then the audience fades in and fades out. The flow is inconsistent, but a lot of instrumentals. But the song selection was pretty good. There's a lot of stuff off Living from the Past, Living in the Past, Living from the Past, Living to the Past, Living in the Past. So that was cool. But yeah, I enjoyed this listen. I've actually listened to it a number of times, mainly because the opening Minstrel in the Gallery into Cross-Eyed Mary is absolutely fantastic. And then The New Day Yesterday is absolutely fantastic. But it's a weird little document. It's a weird little throwaway live document. I do think if it had been the complete show, it would probably rank higher because I like complete shows, and I think maybe some of the things that would have fleshed this out would have been better because I think it would have been old material. Maybe a couple more Catfish Rising songs. I believe there was a Kissing Willie in the set list that didn't make it. Not saying that's a good thing, but yeah, that's it. Interesting little run, interesting little show. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. That's it. That's what we got. So yeah, just thought I would share that with you. This is interesting live release, and like, I mean, even the cover is so, like, it's so bootleggy. It's like a bootleg, right? There's something odd about this release, but apparently this is like an official release from them, from what I was able to gather. So, anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. It's hot. Subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching. I don't know what the next live album is after this, but I'm excited to get on to the next one anyways. All right, that's all I got. Peace. Talk to you later.